Hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's actually been a long time coming. I have been wanting to share some of the things that I've had on my mind on YouTube for a while now. But as you might be familiar with, there's procrastination. There's thinking that what you have to say isn't good enough, isn't useful enough, isn't important enough. Um, It's commonly called the imposter syndrome, and I guess I've been through that. Uh, but yeah, finally, I just feel like none of this actually really matters. Of course, Chan. None of this actually really matters in the end. Okay, if I have a thing to say, I've just come to the conclusion that if I have a thing to say, I all I need to do is just say it, independently of how good or badly it will be received. I just feel like, well, in the end, some of these things that I have to say have been useful to me, are conclusions that I have taken time to get to, and they are useful to me, so perhaps they might be useful to you. And in case they're not, I'm just going to use YouTube as my virtual journal, if I can call it this way. And so basically, today I just want to share with you 5 things that I say to you, but I say mostly to myself, because these are things that I have pondered on for a bit, and yeah, it's just basically 5 things that I say to you, but mostly to myself. And the first is, you are capable of nothing if you think so. Only if you think so. In the same way, you are capable of everything if you think so. And this one, I think every one of us has, in some way, experienced this firsthand. Okay, because I mean, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're a bit hesitant to do something, a bit hesitant to start, to begin to, and then once you do it, you realize, well, it's actually not that hard. It's actually not that difficult. And basically that's it. You're capable of everything that you put your mind to. And have put your mind, if you have decided to adopt the thinking that you are capable of nothing, so shall it be. And this is something that I've particularly thought of. Now, this is something that I have particularly thought about for a bit. Thought about over the last, I don't know, I haven't been counting, but yeah. So basically, what is the idea? The idea is, if you think that you cannot do a thing, the precise moment that you adopt that idea, that thinking, that is the precise moment you are unable to achieve that which you want, that which you desire, in a sense. And of course, I firsthand have had the unfortunate opportunity to witness this in my own life, in my own achievements. There are some things that I had thought I couldn't do. Several things that I just decided I wasn't built for, I wasn't meant for. Um, and I realize right now that the precise moment that I decided to think in such a way was the precise moment that those things were um, inaccessible to me, if I may say it this way. And this first point leads me to the second, which is particularly and actually this first point is explained more in detail by the second. Okay, this first point only makes sense when there is the section. Only makes sense because of the second point, and the second point is clearly that whatever you think to be true for you is true for you. And let me just take an example. Um, so many people have achieved extraordinary things, okay? Like things that are mind blowing, things that people didn't actually think were possible for them. But I believe that if it were possible to retrace, to go back in time and to go back to the chronological order of events, the precise moment that the impossible became possible was when one had adopted the belief that the impossible is possible. And I just don't say this as some fancy, new age, religious, or whatever type of thinking, but just this is applicable in the daily things. Like, for a student, the only reason you cannot make a child say, and the only reason you cannot, let me just take an example for a student for once. If you think that it is impossible to pass this exam after a week of studying, that is just what it will be. Because there are some people out there that actually believe that they can, and hence they do. I hope it makes sense. I hope it does make sense. And and this principle actually is one I have encountered several times in books, in teachings, in so many things actually, where well, whatever you think is true becomes true for you. And in my opinion, that is how the universe works. And this is something that I've tried to experiment with lately. And perhaps it actually works because I think it is true, if you get me. But it is something that has proven to be true for me, that has proven to be true for my experience, for my life experience. There are so many things, and I'm talking actually about the daily stuff. It doesn't have to be extraordinary, but I after understanding this principle, I just started to pay more attention to the beliefs that I adopt, to the beliefs, to the things that I reckon to be true in my experience, to the things that I accept as a truth. Um, I watched Nero's video, for example, the other day, and he was saying something very, very interesting about beliefs, and because nothing in and of itself is true, and that is my opinion. If you beg to differ, it's all right. I'm just sharing my thoughts, okay? And seeing that not there is no truth other than what the subconscious mind has accepted as true, I just began to be a little more careful about the beliefs that I adopt. Um, because if actually I was just like, okay, since the beliefs that I have chosen to adopt with my kids shape my life experience, and to explain this, I'm just going to use the first point. If you think you're capable of nothing, you are indeed capable of nothing. Not because you are intrinsically capable of nothing, but because you have accepted the belief that you're capable of nothing, and that has shaped your experience, and it also shapes the things you act upon in a sense. Because if you already think that you are going to fail, it is more likely that you never start. And in that sense, yes, I just began to be a little more careful about the beliefs that I accept about me, my abilities, my life, the things that I want out of this life, the things that I deserve in a sense. And because yes, as I was saying, because nothing in and of itself is true, I began to filter out some beliefs, okay? And I was like, okay, if actually this belief isn't useful to me, if let me take an example. I I want to do things, okay, as a person, like this is me. There are so many things that I want to do, that I want to achieve. And if I place like a cap on those beliefs, a cap on my abilities with beliefs, okay, I take some beliefs and I just limit myself. It truly really doesn't benefit me. And in that sense, I just began to be a little more careful about the beliefs that I adopt in my life, in my experience, because they do shape and they do condition the outcome of my life. And I was just like, okay, given that nothing is actually really true in and of itself, and I just gave myself the liberty to choose and to discard the beliefs that no longer suited me. As simple as that. I For some people it might be a little more complicated. You might think, let me take an extreme example for once. You know about Stephen King. I hope I'm not, the physicist, the one with who was physically impaired. He was clearly, like, he was evidently physically impaired. He was clearly physically unable to do certain things. But his mind was limitless. He didn't place a cap, he didn't use the belief that being sick is limiting to limit his experience, and he might have achieved a lot more than so many not physically impaired people combined might have achieved in several lifetimes. And he's actually a good example of this, of how what you believe might either limit or expand your abilities, your possibilities. As simple as that. I just hope it makes sense to you, because it does make a bit of sense to me. And nothing is true other than what the subconscious mind has accepted as a truth. And as simple as that, I just want to encourage you and myself to choose carefully the things that you have accepted as truth. If a belief doesn't serve you, you are absolutely free to let go of it. If a belief doesn't suit you, if you feel as if a belief isn't going in your favor on the long term, even though it might seem as truth, I think it's actually quite liberating to see things this way. Nothing is fixed. Even if a belief seems like it is the truth, it is not the truth. It is just a belief that you have accepted as a truth. And as such, you can change your beliefs. And once you change your beliefs, you change the outcome of your experience. As simple as that. Because life, in my opinion, is an experience. It's something we are free to experiment with, particularly with the mind, because the mind is like the center of our lives. It's like, let me take an example. Somebody having a grim day, okay, let's say you just woke up this morning, you're super happy, you're all right, and then something happens that ruins your vibration, okay? It just makes the entire day goes sideways, and you're like, okay, this is a bad day. This is the sign. This is actually, okay, the sign that this is about to be a bad day. It will happen. You're going to find more signs that this is going to be a bad day. Because if you have accepted as truth that it is going to be a bad day, it will. And this is why superstitions work. Okay, superstitions work for the people who have placed their emotional energy, their belief in them. Not because they're necessarily true, but because you believe so hard in them that they become true for you. That said, I will move on to the third point, comfort. No, this one is actually, this one speaks personally to me a lot. And and it's okay. It's just that three, comfort is an addiction. Perhaps comfort is the worst addiction of all. And of course, it feels great to be comfortable. It feels absolutely great to be in a place where you're free of worries. It feels absolutely great to be in a place where um you're comfortable, you're at ease, you're physically, mentally, and spiritually. I may add even at ease, comfortable. But comfort is an addiction, and more often than not, growth lies outside of the comfort zone. And so, if I had to say something to myself and to you, it will be okay. Just find the balance between comfort and challenge. I'm not talking about this discomfort. I'm not saying here go and sleep in the cold just to prove a point. No, I'm just saying it. It's also great. It's actually that is the only way. Now, I was about to say it is the only way that growth can arise, and I do not know if this is true for me just because I have accepted it, or I have accepted it as a truth. But well, more often than not, growth lies right outside the comfort zone, and I think this is actually kind of a life principle, a rule of the game of life. It's like maybe like going to the gym. It's actually not, it puts stress on the muscles, okay? But that is the only way the muscles can grow, when they recover from the stress, and they recover even stronger. So yeah, comfort is addictive. Every once in a while it's good. It's good to seek challenge, especially if you're interested in growth. If you're not interested in growth, you're not interested in growth. It's not actually such a big deal, but I believe it's exciting to explore, to get out of our comfort zones, to actually seek challenge, and to grow beyond, to have our minds expand beyond what we know right now. And as a person, discomfort has brought me a lot of, has done me a lot of good. Like when I look back to who I was like a few years back, the beliefs that I had, it came a point when I was like, okay, they no longer serve me. But it was uncomfortable to let go of some beliefs. It was actually really, really uncomfortable. I remember that I had some really, really terrible periods, really terrible times when the mental pain actually caused me physical pain. Okay, and this is weird. This was, it was actually quite an experience, but I'm glad now looking back that I actually went on the path of of resistance rather than the path of least resistance, because it gave me a lot. It gave me so much. It gave me so much growth, so much benefits that I, yeah. And getting out of your comfort zone could be something as simple as talking to a stranger. Okay, things do not have to be complicated. Actually, I believe that if there is an easy way to do a thing, go for the easy way. Okay, but yeah, just don't run away from discomfort when it arises in your experience. Embrace it, and mm, more probably than not, more probably than not, growth will come out of it. So do not run away from discomfort. Do not be scared when you're sleeping on a bed of stones rather than a bed of feathers, because then you build the muscle. You build your mind expands. Your mind expands beyond what you know. Your experience as a whole expands beyond what it used to be. And yeah, the fourth point. Let me check my notes. Life is beautiful. The fourth point that I, and this is one that I actually really, really love and appreciate. Life is beautiful. Life isn't a struggle. Okay. And now, relating this fourth point to the first and the second point, life is beautiful is a belief that I have chosen to take upon myself, like fully. I have chosen to believe that life is beautiful because it serves me to believe that life is beautiful. I have chosen to believe that my life is inevitably going to be beautiful because it serves me to think. I just prefer the idea that life is beautiful, and my life has been absolutely wonderful so far, and I consider myself lucky in so many ways. Life is actually really, 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 really beautiful. Mine especially, and this is a belief that I has found, and this is a belief that I have found serves me a lot. Okay, I'd rather believe that my life is beautiful, that life is beautiful, than to believe that life is a struggle, that life is a fight, that life is something you have to work hard in, or I don't know, that something you have to struggle in. And some people believe that life is a struggle. I have nothing against that, clearly. I mean, if that's what you want to believe, if that's what you feel serves you, um, then so be it. But I have chosen to believe that my life is beautiful, that life is beautiful, that my life is a pleasurable experience. And I just see pleasurable experiences everywhere in everything that happens. Some things are not particularly pleasurable in the moment, I can admit. But it just serves me better to think that my life is beautiful. And yours too. Life doesn't have to be a struggle. The fact that some things were true for people doesn't mean that they necessarily have to be true for you. Life is not a fight. Life doesn't have to be a fight. Life is a fight if you believe that it is. Life is a struggle if you believe that it is. But it doesn't have to be. It actually doesn't have to be. Life can be beautiful. I just don't think that we came out of nowhere just to struggle on earth, but rather to experience beauty, because there is beauty everywhere around us. There is beauty in everything that we see, that we encounter on a daily basis. So I just feel like, okay, it serves me to believe that life is beautiful, and as such, I believe that life is beautiful, and I came here to tell you that your life is beautiful too. That whatever you think of your life right now, it doesn't have to be. Some situations might be ugly, I get it, but nothing is fixed. Everything is changing. The only constant is change. The only constant is change. And as such, life is beautiful. Mine especially. And this is something that I actually repeat to myself quite a lot. Uh, I'll be like, life is beautiful. Mine is special. Life is beautiful. Yours especially. Fifth point, and the last point. And this point, I will assure you that this is easily one of my favorite points. You have nothing to worry about. There is actually nothing to worry about. In the end, the outcome is sure. I know that many of us have, and I say this because I was groomed in some beliefs, groomed to think that certain things were true, that there is actually something to worry about, that you have to worry about the afterlife, that you have to worry about your karma, that you have to worry about certain things. But there's actually nothing to worry about. Life is beautiful. You have nothing to worry about. And whatever you choose to worry about, you have just chosen to worry about. But ultimately, there's nothing to worry. There's nothing to worry about. There is actually nothing that can hurt you. There's actually nothing that can. Because I believe that we are actually transcendent beings. Okay, like we go beyond the physical. We go beyond, and nothing can hurt your soul. Nothing can actually hurt the real you. And there is nothing to worry about. There is actually, and even beyond that, worry right now, like worry in this physical experience, it does you no good, because worry is actually an energy that makes you feel bad, feel a bit anxious. It's not actually a pleasurable experience. And it's, and imagine like, okay, so imagine you're going to the supermarket, okay, and you know there are shopping carts, but you're like, okay, I don't want to use the shopping cart. I I want to do my monthly grocery shopping by carrying all the groceries in my hand, and you just start to go around like this with several groceries. Some fall down and you can't even pick them up because your hands are too full. And that's actually what worry does to you. You just carry all of these useless things that actually do not benefit you in any way, and you just and that's how I see worry. That's how I perceive worry. And honestly, I just want to tell you that if there's one thing I would like you to take away from this video, is that there is nothing to worry about. Your future is secure. If you are worried about your future, choose to adopt the belief that your future is secure. If you're worried about money, choose to adopt the belief that your financial future is secure. If you're worried about education, if you're worried about anything, just choose to adopt the belief that whatever fill in the blank spaces outcome you want is secure. And I can assure you that whatever you believe to be true will become true for you. My camera told me the maximum recording time has been reached, but I'll just conclude saying this. If a particular belief doesn't serve you, you're free to discard it. You are totally free to choose just the things that serve you. And If a belief actually doesn't serve you, then it controls you. And it's not by force, like the Nigerians would say, it's actually not by force. Choose to believe something uplifting today. Choose to believe something of uplifting from now on, and just see how your life gets better, how your internal feeling gets better. How sometimes you're just so worried that your worry translates into physical pain. But it doesn't have to be this way. Things do not have to be in any way that they are right now. You are free to move in a totally new direction. You're free to choose totally new beliefs. You are absolutely free. As a matter of fact, that is actually the meaning of you are God. That you are God. It's that you have the freedom to decide. And being fully aware that whatever you decide is what is going to be true for you. So if there is just one thing that I want you to take away from this video, is relax. There is nothing to worry about. There is absolutely nothing that you have to worry about today, tomorrow, yesterday, the day after tomorrow, the day after yesterday. You have never had anything to worry about. You will never have anything to worry about. And forgive me for the chair, it's actually I've been speaking a lot of Italian lately, but well, uh, there's absolutely nothing that you have to worry about. Nothing at all. And you are free to adopt the beliefs that serve you, the beliefs that make you feel better. If thinking about something in a certain way makes you feel worse, you have the ability to change it. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but it is possible. It is absolutely possible to change the way you think. It is absolutely possible to adopt beliefs that serve you. You're capable of doing that thing that you have been scared of doing. You're absolutely capable of achieving that thing that you have, in some way or another, been believed was impossible for you. And every time you just think that something is maybe too hard, maybe too difficult for you, remember that some people, some very, very basic people, have achieved extraordinary things just because they had the courage to believe that they could. If a belief doesn't serve you, it is there to control you. And it only makes sense that one could choose the beliefs that serve them. It is in actually no way useful to you to believe that you are a good for nothing. Let me just take this example. Perhaps people may have told you, okay, you're good for nothing, you're good for nothing, and perhaps you have in some way internalized that belief and it has manifested in your experience, and then you're like, okay, I'm good for nothing. But does it actually serve you to believe that you're good for nothing? Does it? I don't believe it does. So, yeah, you have nothing to worry about. You have absolutely nothing to worry about. And let me tell you a secret. I I have chosen to believe for once, and this is my personal experience, that I am God's favorite. I've chosen to believe for once, and this is actually my experience, okay? That I am God's favorite, that I'm actually God's favorite person. And does this serve me? Absolutely yes. Because every time that I feel scared, I'm like, oh, I'm actually God's favorite. I have no reason to be scared. And sometimes your beliefs do not have to make sense to people. Your beliefs do not have but just make sure that you choose beliefs that serve you. If a belief doesn't serve you, it is there to control you. And remember that your experience, your outward experience, your life Life isn't lived from the outside in, but rather from the inside out. And your beliefs shape your experience. And although it's actually a vicious cycle, your beliefs do shape your experience, and some of your experiences reinforce your beliefs. But you can break the cycle. You can choose to adopt new beliefs. You can choose to adopt the fact that you have nothing to worry about. You can choose to believe that your future is secure. You can choose to believe that you are rich. You can choose to believe that you are wealthy. You can choose to believe that everything you put your hands to will work. And I mean, honestly, isn't it better to believe that you are a success rather than a failure? That said, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you found this little talk interesting, and I'm actually looking forward to sharing more of my thoughts with you guys. And in the meantime, you take care of yourselves and let me know what you think about whatever I just said in the comments. And you have a great one. Have an absolutely lovely one.